everybody, and welcome to Pick Army Week 16 Reveal Show. I'm John. That's Eric. Let's dive in and take a look at what the Army says to this week. Miami minus 2.5 at Las Vegas. The Army likes Miami here. Eric, let's dive in and see why.
Yeah, big agreement from me with the Army this week. Miami actually was one of my official plays, not my best bet, but one of my official plays for the Pick Army this week. A lot to like with Miami, but it starts with their defense first in defensive third down conversions. This is a team that gets people off the field on third down, and the best way to prevent the other team from scoring is to keep their quarterback on the bench. Also a very disciplined team under Brian Flores. They have the third fewest penalties in the entire league, so they're not giving up free yards, free first downs, etc. It's a good way to grind out wins. There's also the motivational factor here. Las Vegas is still technically alive, but with a few of the losses that they've had recently, their playoff chances are pretty dim, and I'm not sure that that team has shown the fortitude to come back and win out here. The Raiders not only need to win out to make the playoff, but they need help in addition. So I don't think they're going to be able to dig deep enough to find the energy to do that. It is on the road, so laying points on the road is a little bit worrisome, but this is the year to do it. Agreement with Miami minus 2.5. Again, as long as it's a field goal or less, comfortable rolling with the Fins here at the Raiders.
Agree as well. Miami needs this game. Las Vegas also has looked a little Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde this year. Looks like they always have a team, but for some reason they can't put it together. Miami needs this, and I think they roll here. This is definitely a Miami game for me. Seattle -1 hosting the LA Rams. The Army likes Seattle. Eric, let's look at this one and talk about why, man.
So much to like with Seattle's offense. They are 5th in points per game, 7th in yards per play on offense. This is an offense that's really humming. Obviously, Russell Wilson is widely considered to be, along with a certain quarterback in Kansas City, to be the best football player on the planet. DK Metcalf, a gem in the second round. And also Seattle's running backs are getting healthy. So this is a situation where Seattle needs this game. For a minute there, they had to look in the mirror and realize they hadn't performed enough to win the division. Now the division crown is within grasp. At home against a division opponent, I think I'm going to go ahead and agree. It's a slight agreement, not a big one, but I do like Seattle here, especially because the line is advantageous, only laying a point here. So agreement, slight, but agreement with the Army on the Seahawks this weekend.
Well, you slightly agree. I slightly disagree. I think Seattle's been having some issues with tough defenses. Just go back to the Giants game a couple weeks ago. The Giants gave Russell Wilson fits. They were blocking his passing lanes. They were getting coverage sacks. Aaron Donald is one of the best defensive linemen in the league, and I think he's coming for Mr. Wilson this week. The first matchup with these guys, the Rams held Russell Wilson to 243 yards passing, no touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So they know how to contain him. They also kept the running game amongst 3 different players, including Russell Wilson, to just over 100 yards. They did manage a touchdown, but I think the Rams want this game. This could be a division deciding game, and I think this is going to be big for them.
Strong motivation on both sides to the point where the motivation factor might actually just cancel itself out.
Well, nice job again, man. Thank you so much for that insight.
John, before we wrap up, what are your 4 official Pick Army picks for this week 16?
I got Denver +3 at LA. I think Denver doesn't have, I don't think Denver or LA have much to play for in this game. I think Denver just has the better roster. Even though there are some dynamic weapons on the Chargers, I think Denver is going to cover this game for sure. I got Philadelphia -2.5 at Dallas. Philadelphia is looking really good with Jalen Hurts here. Thinking that this is definitely going to be a cover for them. Dallas is a mess, even though they did have a good win last week. Philadelphia, for motivational purposes, I think is going to go in and take care of business against Dallas here. Divisional game. I think it's going to be a tough one for Dallas to be able to hold up in. Pittsburgh +1.5 at home. Looks for Pittsburgh to come out strong. They've had some flat games in the past couple weeks. They need this game to set themselves up to get into the playoffs and to give them some confidence moving forward. Look for Pittsburgh to cover here. I've got Washington at home, a -2.5, hosting Carolina. Carolina's just a bad team. I just don't think that they're going to have much to do against this Washington defense. Washington defense is tough. Washington needs this win in order to be able to give themselves a shot to win this division. I know they're in the lead right now, but this is a must-win for Washington. Look for a Washington cover. Erik, what are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, agreement with you on Washington -2.5. They were one of my official plays, and for the reasons that you had said, I like that defense, particularly their front seven, and I don't trust Carolina. They just fired their GM. I think they're a team that is looking to start packing it in and start thinking about the draft and next season, whereas Washington's hopes for a playoff berth are very much alive. So agreement with you on Washington. As I had mentioned earlier, I also agreed with the Army on Miami -2.5. Anything under 3 there, I'm getting the better team, the better defense, a better head coach, and a significant motivational edge with Miami. Although Vegas is technically still alive, I think they know that their goose is cooked, whereas Miami's a young team. They're hot. They're looking for that playoff berth, and I think they get it Saturday night against Las Vegas. In addition, my best bet of the week, now that it's at 3 or even 3.5, I really like Tennessee on Sunday night. The big difference here, or the big reason here, is that Tennessee can run the ball. Everybody knows who Derrick Henry is. I think he should be in the conversation to be the MVP for the year. I think Rodgers actually gets it, but Derrick Henry, there's nobody who is a non-quarterback that is more valuable to their team than he is. I think Tennessee's offensive line has started to come together, and Green Bay really has trouble stopping the run. That's been their Achilles heel all year, and they're up against the most prolific rushing attack on Sunday night in a primetime game. So I'm not saying Tennessee goes into Lambeau and gets the upset, but at 3 or 3.5 points, 3.5 is the live line. I like the value there you're getting over the field goal quite a bit with Tennessee. And then my fourth and final pick, John, I actually disagree with you. I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Colts. This one opened -2.5, Colts going to Pittsburgh, and is now down to 1.5. So I'm getting a better line than I was at open. And I really just think the Steelers are cooked, man. I think Ben Roethlisberger is shot. I question some of their coaching, some of their play calling and decision-making. I think they started out red hot, but the tape is out there now on how to beat the Steelers. If this were a bigger line, if the Colts were laying over a field goal, then I think the value shifts back to Pittsburgh. But -1.5, that's more or less a pick 'em. Although I did just jinx myself for a 28-27 Colts win in saying that. That being said, it's more or less a pick 'em. I'm going to go with the better team, the significantly better head coach, and the slightly better quarterback. I think these defenses are comparable. I might give the slight edge to Pittsburgh, but I just don't think the Steelers are playing well right now. And a veteran team like this, they've been to the playoffs before. They've lost in the playoffs before. I think there's something really wrong in the water in Pittsburgh. It starts with Big Ben, but there are other issues as well, like the Colts a lot. They were my fourth and final pick.
I look for them to bounce back. I mean, this is not a team that they're not going to want to be prepared for. A couple of the losses they've had in the past couple of weeks are teams that they might not necessarily have been prepared for, Washington being one of them. But let's. I mean, this is why we watch, man. Let's dive in, take a look. We'll sit back, crack a couple brews, and watch Sunday night football, and take a look, man. Anything else today, bud?
Thank you very much to everybody for all of your participation this week and this year. I hope you had a wonderful holiday, and don't forget we are all systems go for week 17, as well as every playoff match, as well as the Super Bowl. So stick with us for some more insight and hopefully some big winners. We really appreciate your time and effort.
For Erik, I'm John, and we will see you out there, and good luck.